and welcome to week 8 of Knowing the Word, Knowing Jesus. As we are entering into this week, we have been meditating quite a bit already on Jesus' words in the Gospel of Luke. And today I want to invite you that if you have not made this journey so far with us, you may be able to plug in right from where we are at. You can use the app that we are using. It's called Mission 119. You can find it in iOS in the App Store or in Google Play. If you have an Android, or if you want to do it in your computer, you just go to mission119.org, make an account that is free, and you can catch up. We are meditating on week 8 right now, and today I want to take you to Luke chapter 14, to the words of Jesus to whoever wants to follow him. So if you open your Bible, Luke chapter 14, starting in verse 25 and going to the end of the chapter, this is what it says. Large crowds were traveling with Jesus, and turning to them he said, "If anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother, his wife and children, his brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. And anyone who does not carry his own cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Will he not first sit down and estimate the cost to see if he has enough money to complete it? For if he lays the foundation and is not able to finish, everyone who sees it will ridicule him, saying, 'This fellow began to build and was not able to finish.' Or suppose a king is about to go to war against another king. Will he not first sit down and consider whether he is able with 10,000 men to oppose the one coming against him with 20,000? If he is not able, he will send a delegation while the other is still long ways off and will ask for terms of peace. In the same way, any of you who does not give up everything he has cannot be my disciple. Salt is good, but if it loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is fit neither for the soil nor for the manure pile. It is thrown out. He who has ears, let him hear." Now, many times we think that Jesus is pretty soft in his speech and pretty peaceful in the things he says and make everybody feel good in the way that he says things. And we get to the point of these kind of passages and we are like, wait, this is really rough, this is really tough. Is this really Jesus? This is not the image that I had about Jesus. Why does he seem to be so rough about it? One of the things that we were talking in my little group the other day was if you could ask Jesus anything, what would you ask him? And one of the people in my group says, I would like to know what was he writing on the ground when he was saying whoever has no sin be the first to cast a stone. Remember that passage, and that made me think about this passage. What was Jesus' demeanor the moment he was talking to the crowds? Because by then Jesus was pretty famous, and having large crowds following Jesus, it isn't that good. Is more people following Jesus? Isn't that something good? But all of a sudden, Jesus would not be good if we not tell you things straightforward. And we see that large crowds were following Jesus, and he was just being plain and honest with every single one of them. If anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother and his wife and children and brothers, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. So this is like, of course, Jesus is making an hyperbole, like an exaggeration, just to explain what, like, a point. And the point is that in comparison to following and care, caring for one, what Jesus says has to be like quite dramatically different in between what other people said about you or to you. Back then, one of the things that determined who you are and your identity back in the day was determined by your family. Your future was determined by your family, by working in the family trade, or, by being stuck with the family. And, you were known by what's your name. That's easy to I associate and understand. If you live in a small town where everybody knows everybody, that's just, if you have a name, then maybe sometimes somebody asks you, what's your name? And I don't know that name. What that means? Well, that means that there is no history of you around there. I don't have any idea of who are you, identity, if who are you? And so Jesus is saying, that our identification to him has to be our priority. And that is a very, very good contrast, because one of the things that I'm seeing is that, like, it's not enough to be following Jesus at a distance. Jesus is saying there is a difference in between being my disciple and just following me wherever I go. The ideas of being a Christian or a follower in like social media, for example, doesn't mean that. What does it mean? Jesus is being really clear terms that in order to follow Jesus, there's gonna be a cost. It's a big cost of following Jesus. So nowadays, I was very moved lately by one discovery that I made about my garden. And what does it have to my garden has to do with anything? Is the fact that I realized that dandelions shows up on a yard because there's a lack of calcium. And, little did I know about that. And so I was really intrigued by that, and how does the plant is trying to fix a problem that your soil has in that spot or area. And I was pretty intrigued. And so the point that I'm going with this is that whatever springs out in your heart is an indication of what is really happening. So the fact of Jesus saying, that has to identify and follow Jesus to the point of loving more him or my association with somebody, my identity, or what people will think about me. The idea of dying to self, verse 27, and anyone who does not carry his own cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. I'm moved by this idea that those things shocks us, because we have been, our yard and our soul has been fed with other things, with other messages, with other urgencies and other tendencies in our heart. It's pretty interesting. For example, there's an author of the book called Wisdom Pyramid. His name is Brett McCracken, and he says that right now our lives are being exposed to three problems that are opposite to be able to be wise, or be able to work through the lenses of wisdom. One is that we have too much information. There is so much information that is taxing to our own brains, to that point that we are constantly overwhelmed by an incredible amount of information, and our brains are constantly thinking about, should I keep this information, should I store it, should I do something with it because it's important, or should I discard it? And that the constant work of trying to decide what to do with the information creates our brains to be tired and acting out and moving and making decisions in a state of tiredness. So that creates a rewiring of our brain. Wait, what? Yeah, it rewires our brain. It creates a change, and actually a physical change in our brains based on the things that is happening that is dumped on us all the time. We have too much information, then also the information is too fast. We are bombarded by instantaneous news, instantaneous messages that can travel from one point of the orbit of our planet to the other side of the planet, and we are so consumed and obsessed, I would say, with what's happening lately that do you remember what happened yesterday? What was new yesterday? It creates forgetfulness. It creates the author calls an addiction to new things, and that so fast that there is no time sometimes to process, and sometimes the things that travels faster are the gossips and not so accurate information. So sometimes we consume things that are not really accurate, and then it moves us to do things on a state of not only we are tired, but it's so fast that we have to do something quick, and we don't think before to act. So it's a pretty emotional move, an emotion that has been moved without too much thinking. And so you have the rants on social media about something that probably was not true, or if it was true, it's creating more, instead of bringing solution to the issues, it's creating more problems. So we have too much information, it goes too fast, and also the world around us is created to cater me. It's to focus on myself, says the author. We have customized news and set of news, customized phones, and customized apps, customized everything just for me. And it reduced the amount of sources of where I'm putting the information from. We have too much, and also we have a reduction because I can select who do I listen, who do I do not listen, and that creates a different world in my own views. It's technology is helping create a world tailored to either the things that are moving you or consuming you, and creates a micro world in you. So in all that, it makes me think about what this has to do with us. Well, if the soil of my life is being dumped so much of this, well, most likely something's gonna there's gonna be a kind of reaction in my soul. There's gonna be something going on. And when Jesus talks about the cost of discipleship, I am confronted with the idea: can I choose in following Jesus what areas do I want to keep and what I don't? The quick answer is no. But yet I really want it. I really want to customize to myself what it means to be a disciple. I want to put in my own terms. I actually want to read the things that I like. I want to consume the messages that really touches my soul and makes me feel good. And this pandemic has not helped matters because I don't even have to move from my comfortable seat at home to be able to watch a message. And if the preacher that is in front of me, I don't like it too much, I just can switch because it's too boring, it sounds funny, or whatever reason might be. I'm just using the possibilities with me. It's just being honest with you, So it's like Jesus is being pretty straightforward and harsh and saying, "Hey, you can be here. We can be admiring what I'm doing, but that doesn't mean that you are a disciple of mine." And I don't want that to happen. If I decide to follow Jesus, Jesus is being pretty straightforward and talking to me that there's a cost to follow him. And Jesus is calling me to check the reality of my life. What is my love meter? What am I loving more than Jesus? Is he asking me to check my identity? started to ask me what's important in my life. And he's saying that straightforward, he's saying that there is no way that we can say, well, how much is enough to give to Jesus? Can I give this but not this? And no, because Jesus is asking me all my life. Jesus is asking me everything. So Jesus is saying, if you want to be my disciple, there is no such a thing as Dietrich Bonhoeffer will say something about cheap grace, which is grace, but there is no cost. There is grace, but there is no repentance. There's grace, there's forgiveness, but there is no cost. There's no need to ask for forgiveness of anything. I just come in and whatever. There is a cost that the disciple of Jesus Christ has to pay. And Jesus is not tricking you. He's not moving. He's not asking you to make rush decisions. And so it makes me think about all the things in the Christian life that are based on emotions, or making decisions based on somebody kind of pushing you into making a decision. And Jesus is pretty straightforward. He's like, I cannot tell any element in here of emotional manipulation. I cannot tell anything like that. And I can honestly say that this message would not have been fun to hear. But yet, Jesus is being honest, straightforward. And then the cost, when Jesus talks about counting the cost, is a decision that I make. It's a conscious decision to follow him. And he's saying being a disciple of Jesus Christ means that your identity is in Jesus Christ. And obedience and words that matters the most is Jesus Christ. He's not saying, well, do not love the rest of the people, but that your religion is first and foremost Jesus Christ. He's making a vast distinction in the level of importance of his word. So right now I'm moved to think about, well, Jesus is asking me to count what does it mean to follow him. So all this idea that I really want Jesus to answer my questions and follow me in the ways of the things that I need to see him move, is that correct? Well, the short answer is we are duped into thinking that the gospel of Jesus Christ is gonna come to fix all my problems and all the things that I want. And it's harsh, because that's what we are tailored into, creating a perception that it's all about me. It's all about us. And at the same time, our world makes us think that if somebody's asking you to think differently, they really want to manipulate you into something different. They want to manipulate you into thinking that they're taking advantage of you. And Jesus is honestly saying that there is a cost of following Jesus, but what's the cost of not following Jesus? What is the cost of just doing my own? What is the cost of me trying to manipulate how much do I give to Jesus? What is the cost of me being so Christian and saying, well, God understands, of not giving my best? Jesus is not saying that you're not going to make mistakes. Jesus doesn't say that you will not sin. Jesus is not saying anything. Jesus is saying that there's going to be a cost. That Jesus is calling you to die to self, to your own. There's a good story that I heard about a guy that really wanted to buy apparel, and so he goes and says, sir, I want this barrel, to the guy who was selling it. And the guy says, well, I'm pretty sure you don't want that, you cannot pay for it, or you don't want to pay for it. Said, why? Because, it will cost you. Well, how much? It will cost you everything. Well, I have $10,000 in my bank account. Was that enough? And the guy says, well, $10,000 will do it. What else? Well, what else? I don't have much more. I just only have like a couple of hundreds in my pocket. Oh, that would be mine as well. And said, okay, so what that's okay, but I don't know if my wife will really agree with that. Oh, you have a wife? Yeah, I have a wife. Well, that will be mine as well. Just, no, wait, what? But what happened if what happened to our life? Well, you have a life that also would mean that it comes with me. And said, wait, but how about my kids? Oh, you have kids? Yeah, but those one will be mine as well. Wait, but if you take my wife and my kids, and how about my house? Oh, you have a house. Yeah, but if I give you my house, where do I gonna live? In in my camper? Oh, you have a camper. Oh, that will go as well. Wait, but if that's the case, I'm gonna end up living in the car. Oh, you're gonna have a car. You have a car. Yeah, I of course I have a car. I have a car. My wife has a car. Oh, your wife has a car. That would be also mine. I said, wait, I won't have anything else. There is nothing left. What should I do? What can I do? And now what? This is ridiculous. And the guy says, is that all what you have? Yeah, that's all what I have, but the only thing left is my dog. Oh, you have a dog. That dog will be mine as well. Then wait, this is crazy. Well, this is what the pearl costs. So when we come to Jesus, is the cost that Jesus is talking about is saying that he doesn't just want to be your savior, but your Lord. He's going to guide you to good places. That doesn't mean that Jesus will take everything from you and say that will be so unkind and so oppressive to take everything. No, he's saying that the concept is that everything we have belongs to him. He's just giving it to us to be able to be good stewards of the life that he has given us, good stewards of the resources that he has given us, but at the same time that he can call and ask it for any of those things whenever he thinks so. And why would Jesus ask any of those things from my life? Because if Jesus might start asking those things from my life, and I start thinking, well, no, I don't want to give it to you, that's because they have the soil of my own life is being polluted by something. They believe that if I don't have something, then I will not reach anything. That my life is determined by the things I own, the types of kids I have, the types of my last name, or the town where do I live. Those things are going to start pretending to be something that really is not good for you. And Jesus will challenge those things because he knows that those things are polluting your life. If I start believing that my life can only be satisfied or be good if I have this or that, then eventually Jesus is going to ask you, because that is enslaving you. So the cost of not following Jesus is going to be the eternal presumption of that I need something else to make my life worthy, to my identity will be wrapped up in things that really do not matter. And ultimately, I'm going to lose Jesus. And if I lose Jesus, it's really all the things in the world and the fame and the money and the stuff that I have, will it be worth for anything? After all, when we die, there's nothing I can take. There's nothing I can take along with me, carry with me, or do anything with that. All the things that this world offers are becoming something that is really not meaningful at all. Yet we live by them. We are inundated by them and push to make decisions to run for those things. Jesus is saying that everything that he has given us has to be under his service, under a good master, because he's a good master. He's a good Lord. He cares for us. He is the Lord that died on your behalf so you can have life. Now, there's a cost that you need to pay. And sometimes we just assume that, I can decide, I can customize my experience with Jesus. I can certainly decide. That is what I can do. But it doesn't mean that my customization of the life that I want to be is good or accurate. It doesn't mean that my own standards of following Jesus are just going to be Jesus' standards. Because I'm becoming my Lord. I'm becoming my own road maker. And I'm not trusting Jesus that he cares for me, loves me enough to know what is good for me or not good for me. So the world has been trying to push this agenda in my own life that I can be whoever I want to be. I can do whatever I want to be, anytime I want to, whatever I want to, and it's all about me. And Jesus has said from the very beginning that that will lead you to bad places. And if I don't trust Jesus, then it means that I'm trusting somebody else. So am I really following Jesus when I want to do my own stuff? That means that I just want Jesus for whatever I want him to do. So the roles are inverted. So my question today is not just to make you feel bad. It's just to make you bring to the surface the realization that there is only one way to follow Jesus. Is to follow Jesus in the way that he wanted. The disciple, the one who imitates and carries his identity based on the master, based on the teacher, on the good Lord. All the rest is just trying to dilute who Jesus really is. The goodness of the Lord, the goodness of Jesus. So in my life, I need to start wondering, what are the things that hurt? When Jesus is asking me, what are the things that hurt in my life? Is that, the one who has the most value is my family? How do I determine, how do I honor my family and at the same time honor Jesus? Can there be any contradiction on that? What if Jesus is asking me for something of my own resources? What is too much? What is too little? And can I say that Jesus is unfair? That he doesn't know what he's asking, or that he doesn't know my reality? How do I go back? How do I walk in the ways that he wants me to? Well, it starts by acknowledging what's the reality of your heart. What's the reality of my heart? What are the things that are really a hard pull on my soul? And that's just revealing the things that I'm stuck, the things that I need to dig in a little bit more. And most likely, I cannot do it on my own, because Jesus never said that you can walk this path of following Jesus on your own. The reality is that as good as technology is, and we have good things, and comfort has helped us in many other ways. In many other ways, it's not that good. That you need community. The body needs you, and you need the body. That this is good temporarily. That this way of communication is good temporarily. But I need other people to speak into my life. To say, hey, I think that you are missing something in your experience in your life. Jesus is very straightforward. He doesn't give you tricks or make you sign in the dotted line without even letting you know what's going to cost. But ultimately, I'm the one who is to decide if I'm going to trust him or not. So bottom line, what is pulling in my life? What are the things I would like to treasure? And I'm having a hard time just being honest with myself that I really would like to push the boundary a little bit more and challenge him, because I'm not really willing to. And what is the things that it prevents me from trusting him more? And that is a good indication of if I'm really following Jesus or I'm following myself. In that, I need to say, Lord, I don't want the gospel to reduce or dilute the gospel, the good news of Jesus, to my own experience. I don't want to make it into those things. Lord, these are the things that really hurt. What are the things that are embedded in me? What are the things that I'm believing in that makes me get stuck? And with that, Lord, I just want to be your disciple. You're the one who forms his destiny based on obedience to you, because you care and love me more than I can ever imagine. You care in every single detail of my life. So Lord, lead me, guide me, and I don't want to just let the information go through one ear and get out through the other one. Lord, lead me, because I want to follow you with all my heart and all my soul and all my strength. And may my life be a life that brings you glory and honor. So Lord, reveal what's in my soul right now. What are the areas in which weeds are springing and giving and showing signs that there is something off? So Lord, have your way in my life. And may the question of Jesus, of if you're willing to pay the cost, make sure that you don't take it as an offense into your life. He's not trying to make you get upset. He's trying to make you realize that there's a cost to follow Jesus, and the cost is worth that what is required. May the Lord bless you, and have a great week.